What's up, shoemakers? You're welcome back to Omo Bespoke. Today we're continuing on our high heel shoes journey, and we're trying to help a friend of ours recreate this Bienvenida Primavera shoe. She had some problems which resulted from something that we did not touch in our last class on how to create pumps. So I'm just going to show her how to correct that problem using exactly the same last that she is trying to create this with. So she called me from Plateau State, showed me the last that she was using, and since I had exactly the same last, we'll deal with it. So that problem is the problem of this space that you have at the sides, and it actually results from not springing the pattern. Now this pattern is such that you cut it out, it looks as though it's already sprung, because it crosses the center line, and if you do not take extra care to spring it by adopting a kind of like roundabout procedure, you're going to have some problems. So we found the heel height to be 7.5 and the last length to be 29. We've marked in the center line, that's the ball, the lateral side ball, and that's the medial side ball right there. Yeah, excellent. That's of course our vamp line, and the intersection point is the vamp point. So we will cut along the center line and then peel out our last copies. So let's peel out our lateral side last copy. There it is, peeled out. Place it on cardboard, and then we'll do something similar for our medial side last copy. Of course, you know that we are cutting out the last copy so that we can use them to create our min form, and that all of our designs will subsequently be done on that min form. If everything I'm saying sounds like Greek to you, just know that we've dealt with all of these in granular details in previous classes, so do endeavor to check them out. So these are last copies, the lateral side and the medial side. We'll cut them out, and then with them we'll begin to create our min forms. So this is the medial side last copy. You see that I've cut notches at the ball and at the vamp point. So all I'll simply do is to trace it out by facing it backwards. So you flip it over and trace it out on a clean sheet of cardboard. Place the lateral side last copy on top of the medial side last copy, and also equally trace itself out, indicating of course our vamp point and our ball for both lateral side and medial side last copies. We'll find the middle of the vamp line for the min form, and then cut out our min form by cutting along the middle of the differential between the lateral side and the medial side. So this is our min form. We're going to use it for all of the designs that we are going to create. So let's get on with that. The first thing we need to do is to draw a right angle like we did in the previous class. So that's the horizontal line of the right angle and the vertical line of the right angle. We indicate the heel height of 7.5 cm on the vertical line, and then trace in our min form, ensuring that the ball of our min form falls on the horizontal line. Remember that the last length of this last is 29 cm. That last length divided by 4, 5 and 8 gave us the numbers that you're seeing. So let's start to design our pump. Let's mark in the instep first of all. Formula for instep is last length divided by 4, which came to 7.25. So from the vamp point going upward, we marked in 7.25 as our instep. Excellent. Then we would also mark our counterpoint, which is last length divided by 5, which gave us, I think, 5.8. We added 1 to that pace to get our back height. Then of course we divided our vamp line into 2, and then draw a line from the counterpoint to that middle point on the vamp line. All of these, I guess, you guys are already familiar with. Let's start with the design. We said that the front part of the pump should at least be 1/4 of the last length. So in my case, I'm using 1/4 of the last length plus I think 1 cm, so it came to about 8.25, which I have marked on the front center line. Then from that point, I'll draw a line parallel to the vamp line and just draw that line downwards. Now pay attention to what we did. From the tip to that point is 1/4 of the last length plus or minus 1 cm. From there to this point here is 1/8 of the last length, and that is the point from where I can curve in to my top line. So let's draw the top line from the back height to the same place to the middle of the vamp point. Then if we measure our quarter line and divide it into 2, and then draw a line from there, that would also divide our top line, and then from there we can angle the top line to a point at least about 1 cm beneath the middle of the vamp line. And then using the earlier points that we have, we can angle in the rest of our top line. My freehand sketching is not very good. This is my attempt at the design my friend wanted to create, but as you can see, my freehand sketching is so poor. But rest assured that that is not going to affect our pump in any way, as this is all that we require. So let's just leave her designs aside and deal with the pump, basic pump that we intended to deal with from the start. So you see the problem that she was having. When you place this front part on the straight line, you find that it has already crossed over the center line. So how are you going to spring it? So let's do that same experiment we did in the previous class. So take a look at what happens. The moment you raise it to the back height, you have that space along the side right there, and that's the thing that springing helps us illuminate. But in this case, it's already crossing over the center line. So how are we going to do that? First of all, let us mark the counterpoint and the back height on the last itself. So we measure in the counterpoint and then also mark in the back height on the last. Now we're going to take this pattern that we have and lie it flush on the body of the last and find out the point where, when it lies flush, where it touches the back. So we mark that point on the last and then take a measurement from the heel of the last to that point, such that we can also indicate that same point on our pattern, and then that is the pattern, the point from where we are springing our pattern. So if we draw a center line like so and place the center line on the line that we drew, we can draw in and draw to our pivot point, and using that point as our pivot, we will simply move this up to the point where that initial mark started, and with that we can conclude the rest of the pattern. So we are simply springing not to the tip of the center line, but to the point where the problem starts, where it stopped lying flush. Then we indicate that point and draw a right angle from there, such that if we cut along the rest of the top line, we can fold this pattern in, maybe draw in our folding allowance if we wanted, and then cut along. Long and short is that by the time we cut this out, you'd find that your pattern is properly aligned, and you are able to now find that this is properly sitting pretty as it should. So you're going to ask, okay, so if this is the case, what are you going to do with this part that is missing? Simple. All you need to do is fold it over and then trace fold it over like so, and using the part that is missing, the corresponding part on the other side, use that to find your pattern. So as you can see, I've marked it out. I simply draw that in, maybe add a stitching allowance in front so that there will be a part for it to slot in and be stitched on the corresponding side on the opposite side. And this way I'm able to join it, and you will find that we have a complete pattern that is very well done. So as you can see, it is going towards the back height, and it is also lying flush on the last. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to show you how to spring when your pattern crosses over your center line. So my friend Hami from Plateau State has been inducted into membership of this channel. For trying, she gets that award. So see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.